your little spark. He could not see which way to go. If you though I know not what you are, twinkle, twinkle, little star.
I say it right here, Dead Space 1 and 2 are some of the best games of the 360 PS3 era. In this video I want to talk about in what both excel at and what difference in design there are. Sadly by now, developer Visceral Games is as dead as a necromorph after EA sucked its life out with unreasonable sales predictions and poorly implemented microtransactions. I'll link to a video from Jim Sterling in the description if you want an in-depth explanation of what went wrong. Anyway, in 2008 Dead Space was released on PS3, Xbox 360 and PC to high critical acclaim and in my opinion gave new life in the genre of killing undead monsters. As Isaac Clarke, a normal engineer for spaceships, you head out to assist the planet cracker Ishimura. The mining ship went dark during a standard resource collection mission and stopped responding to outside calls. Isaac actually has a personal interest in this mission, because his girlfriend Nicole is part of the crew, so naturally he wants to make sure she is okay. He and his team literally crash land on the ship they were supposed to help.
Nein! Wir können es reinschaffen! Corporal, das war ein Befehl! Das Wind ist zu stark!
And let's say, it doesn't take long for them to realize that something went very wrong here. The things that want you dead in Dead Space are the reanimated corpses of different life forms transformed into unrelenting killing machines by a aggressively spreading parasite known as necromorphs, and I love them. Already in the first game, they come in so many different varieties and flavors, it never gets boring fighting them. They even have a, at the time, unique twist to fighting them. You know, being dead means that you can't really die again, so just shooting necromorphs really doesn't do that much. Luckily, you're not a soldier man, well at least till part 3, you're an engineer. So the first thing you find that can be used to defend yourself is actually a plasma cutter, a high power tool used to separate different materials. Materials like flesh? Yes. To stop the hordes of the undead, you have to cut off the limbs until they are rendered immobilized. And they really want you to cut off the limbs. In fact, the game won't shut up about it. I like to imagine the developers think you're tainted by first-person shooters or too stupid to remember it by yourself. Now, you think with an array of tools at your disposal, the undead wouldn't pose a threat, but you'd be wrong about that. They ambush you, set traps, circle and corner you at every opportunity. You never feel like you have the upper hand. At best, you feel like you have a handle of the situation. Most of the time. Okay, so you have frightening foes that are fun to find, but what else is there? Its setting. Its setting and atmosphere are unparalleled, and Ishimura has plenty of that. Going through the belly-lit corridors, afraid of every corner and air duct, hearing the scratching in the walls and listening to the sounds of the imposing machinery in the belly of the ship.
Defekter Monorail-Waggon wird ersetzt. Bitte warten.
It really feels like a believable sci-fi world, and every area is a spectacle with interesting scenery. The first time you feel the silence and the the isolating presence of space is a sight to behold. A magic moment, as you say.
Entering zero gravity.
From zero gravity to huge machinery to operate, each room gives you something to see and do, besides not getting eaten by zombies. Even Isaac himself is an impressive example of the vision for technology in this world. The game has a revolutionary memory design in that it pretty much gets by without having one. Being in a type of power armor is nothing new in gaming, even back then, but in Dead Space it's also your interface to the world around you. Instead of a health meter at the bottom or a bloody screen in the corners of your display, you can check your health level by the color and length of the color pips on your back. The suit is able to holographically enable communication, display your inventory, and guide you to the next waypoint. This all makes for a very smooth and immersed experience. But the suit still has even more tricks up its sleeve. Move things from far away, or shoot them at necromorphs with your kinetic powers, slow enemies, and stop things from crushing you with stasis, giving you some much needed time to breathe. Going back to the story, you will quickly learn that things go from bad to very bad real fast.
Isaac!
You and the other two survivors of your team, Hammond and Kendra, now need to find a way off the infested death trap of a planet cracker. This is probably a good time to tell you that Isaac in part 1 is a silent protagonist, making the conversation with other people rather one-sided, making him at times feel like a robot doing tasks. I think they did it so the player would identify more as Isaac and maybe be more scared, but that doesn't really work for me. It's just too stoic and actively works against feeling some sort of panic or empathy for Isaac in his search for his girlfriend. Most of the time your job will be to go from point A to point B to either repair something or get a special item, so your colleagues can work on their escape plans. And let's just say, these don't work out as well as you'd hope.
Bringen Sie den Gas und Schock und warten Sie nicht auf mich! Oh, Scheiße!
On the way you pick up new schematics or power nodes to buy new items, weapons and suit models. Or improve your arsenal at workbenches. Going off the designated path almost always rewards you with useful items or background information on what really happened on board. On your way through the ship you will find a few, let's call them survivors, who most of the time display a rather unique behavior, ranging from mutilating himself to thinking the necromorphs are some sort of holy life form, the top of evolution. Speaking of which, Dr. Mercer, let's talk about him. He's a unitologist, the biggest religion in the Dead Space universe, with a great conversion of everything living as the promised end goal. Upon seeing what the necromorph organism does, as a devout follower he realizes that they bring the promised conversion in one hive mind and decides that everyone should wear skin and bones inside out. He betrays his crew, becomes even more deluded, and is pretty much the primary antagonist for most of the game. Don't worry though, you won't have to fight him, instead you have to square off against his new slab creation, the Hunter Necromorph. It's faster, stronger, and takes more abuse than its parent, but the thing you'll just love is his regenerative ability. The monster can't be killed by shooting it. Once you use that, every encounter with it becomes a nemesis-like thrilling fight for survival, as you try to immobilize it without running dry on ammunition, so you can progress through the area, fight off the normal undead, all while the apex predator never stops stalking its prey. You'll have to think outside the box to best this foe. In the endgame of your fight against the horrors of space, you'll uncover the secrets of the alien obelisk called the Marker and its mind-influencing powers, learn who are the masterminds behind the incident of the colony and the downfall of the Ishimura. You fight gigantic enemies see unbelievable things and learn facts about Isaac that even he would prefer not to know.
Danke, Isaac. Ich habe immer an dich geglaubt. Ich wusste, du würdest zu mir zurückkehren. Wir sind wieder ganz, Isaac. Wir sind ganz.
Some negative things that I can find is that the game feels heavy, movement and aiming feels sluggish. This sometimes leads to taking hits that don't feel like your mistake. It's easy to lose orientation in zero gravity, and there are some sections like shooting asteroids or searching for air-polluting necromorphs that I could do without, but even these, in a strange way, sometimes add to the game, keeping you from feeling too powerful or in control, confuse you and make you panic and angry. Dead Space is a modern classic. It's a game about fear, discovery and betrayal. It constantly plays with your expectation, rewards you for skill and punishing you for choosing the wrong options. It leaves you tired and beaten, but with a faint trace of hope for Isaac's future. For the most part.
Isaac. Ich bin's. Ich wünschte, ich könnte...
And it provides you with many brutal and grotesque deaths, making you cringe each time a necromorph manages to get a hold of you when your health is low. Oh, so many deaths.